Well, joining me now here live in Lviv is Michael Bociurkiw. He's a global affairs analyst, also a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council. Good to have you here on set with us to talk about this. Before we get going, I mean, it's an important day. I mean, Ukraine has been at war for 8 years, and that was sort of precipitated by the events in the Maidan, which I was at. So it's a significant day in that regard.
Absolutely, Michael. On the way here, I saw many of the churches are commemorating the anniversary of the slaughter of the so-called Heavenly 100 in and around Maidan Square. A lot of people reflecting on that. And then tomorrow is the anniversary of the illegal annexation of Crimea. So on the one hand, people are very nervous because Putin might take advantage of this numerology, so to speak, to do something. But on the other hand, they're commemorating this. And one quick thing on that, Michael, a lot of Ukrainians tell me very few people, if any, have been prosecuted for that mass slaughter so many years ago. When
it comes to the current situation, let's talk about Putin's intent. He would be well aware that invading a country is one thing, holding it is another. In that sense, what do you think he is calculating? What is he weighing up?
A lot of factors here, weather, sanctions, things like that. But I think if the West right now, the only real powerful thing they have in their arsenal right now is the sanctions, I don't think the Russians are taking it very seriously. Hence, I'm beginning to kind of lean in with Zelensky saying that maybe some of those sanctions should be unleashed right now, especially, for example, lifting those golden visas that so many rich Russians got in the United Kingdom, things like that. That type of thing would get back to Putin right away. Yeah,
that's a good point. What do you make of the increasingly frequent clashes along that line of contact, the east of the country and the Donbass, fire being exchanged? How much of a flashpoint could that be in the context of what might spark a full-on conflict?
Michael, I have a really, really horrible feeling about that. As you know, I've been in the Donbass, I've been on the rebel side. I have stared at these thugs in the eyes as part of the OSCE. They're capable of anything. They have no morals. They will even kill their own people if need be. So what they're doing right now, it's the Russian playbook, evacuating people, saying the Ukrainians are ready to attack them, and then they will use that as a pretext to build up this conflict even more. I would think perhaps the Russians coming in formally into that occupied area, and then maybe making a push to the south.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've already seen, the so-called false flag and all that sort of stuff. These evacuations, which were very choreographed. That whole disinformation part of it is key in all of this, too. I mean, that's what leads to false flag.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Michael, it has to be said that the other thing that worries me, the Russians have very long arms into Ukraine. Over the past years, in fact, we've seen assassinations of people, Belarusian dissident, of Ukrainian journalist. So right now, what really worries me, and Zelensky has brought this up, as well as a former Western ambassador to Ukraine, is that there is a list of civil society activists, of intellectuals in Kiev that they would like to neutralize if they make the big push towards the capital.
Ukraine, of course, still very much wants to be in NATO. That is a key sticking point for Vladimir Putin. Do you see a situation where the West might lean on Ukraine a little and sort of encourage them to say, we'll give up NATO aspirations? Everyone I talk to here says that ain't happening. But do you think that might be something that the West might try to get Ukraine to do?
I'm afraid so. I think that would be the next step of the West, to pressure Ukraine to either temporarily at least drop its NATO bid, or to move ahead with the Minsk Accords, which it doesn't like, and grant some kind of autonomy to the occupied areas. But I can tell you that there's a lot of controversy with that NATO suspension possibility here in Ukraine. Some people say it'll draw people out onto the streets. Others, actually last night here, told me, if that's what we have to do to keep the calm, prevent an invasion from happening, perhaps it is worth exploring.
Can you see a situation where it's not a full invasion, perhaps partial, where he nibbles around the edges, as you say, the Donbass, and perhaps, a lot of people think he wants a land bridge to Crimea, take, say, Mariupol through to Odessa. Do you think that would be something he'd consider, or you think he'd just go all in or not?
I hate to speculate, but I think what we'll see perhaps is that formal takeover of the Donbass, which, by the way, is an economic basket case. But anyway, then, that land bridge, because the one thing Crimea really needs right now is water. They don't have it. Getting that land bridge would connect Crimea to the water canal from Ukraine. But very, very risky. A lot of blood would be spilled. But I think at the end of the day, Michael, the only person who knows what is going to happen is Mr. Putin, and maybe he doesn't even know at the moment.
Yeah, very fluid. Great to have you here with us, Michael. Good to see you, Michael Bociurkiw there. All right.